All right, so let's talk about basic globbing now. This is wildcards on your shell. This is super useful. I love this feature. Let's clean up a little bit here. Let's move some of these files, char by char, curly, parameter, say anything, return codes. Let's move them all to done. And now we have a nice clean directory with done and lib. Let's make a new directory here called files. This is going to have random files. They're not going to be real files. We're just going to make them to illustrate a simple concept here. So we're going to go into files and let's make some fake files. Bar.txt. I don't know why I started with bar. Foo.txt. Foo.jpg and touch bar.jpg. We should probably also make baz since we're here. There we go. A little confusing. Let's back out of that. So let's ls files, and we can see we have foo.bar.baz as text and JPEG files. They're just empty files. I'm just using those names so we can illustrate some concepts here. Let's go ahead and ls them. We can ls files. We can also, if you want to see them on their own line, ls-1. I like this option. This separates the files based on new lines. Super useful. Yes, file names can have new lines in them, so be careful about that, but still very useful here. We can also echo files star. That's a glob. That is called globbing. This will get replaced with this, and echo will receive this. So this command, actually bash ran that. That is what it ran. Very confusing, but it ran that on my behalf. It got a lot of arguments there. So we can use that printf notation. We're going to use this a lot. I really like this notation. We can do the %s new line here. We can do file star, and then we get new line separated based on the glob. So again, this got expanded into multiple arguments, and printf will repeat the format specifier for each argument it got. Super useful, really nice to be aware of. So go back up here, ls-1 files. We have this. We can do file star. ls got every single file as an argument. That's why ls now puts files in front of it. So just a little thing to be aware of, but this is going to turn into every file that's there. We can also do star.txt if we just want to list the text files. Star.jpg if we just want to list the JPEG files, which is super nice. We can do the opposite. We can say foo.star if we just want to list the foo files. Foo Files, my favorite band. So dumb. I gotta cut out so many corny jokes. Nah, I'm gonna leave them in. You guys have to suffer. Bar star. So there's all our bar files. Now, of course, there are some other things we can do here. There's a couple little things. I'm just gonna show a little bit of it, but we can do BA question mark. Question mark.txt. Star matches anything pretty much, 0 or anything. Question mark means it has to be something, but it can be anything, but it has to be something. So it'll match bar and baz. So it was just any character there. You'll notice if you're familiar with regex or regular expressions, it's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it is very similar. So that can be kind of useful to be aware of. Also, a lot like regex, we can specify patterns here. We can say, I want to match anything that has an A, a B, or a C here. Now that doesn't actually match anything, so we get an error, but I want to match something that has an A, B, C, or an R. Now it does match something. Bar has an R in it. We could put a Z here, and now it matches bar and baz. So we are free to put patterns there, and you can mix and match. We could do this, and now we match everything that's BA, any of those characters one time, literal period, and then a star means anything at the end of it. This is a basic introduction to globbing. It's incredibly powerful. It's such a useful tool, but it can get more complicated, and that's what extended globbing is for.